Hello and welcome to a very special food episode, part 2 of Sutton Impact Family Style. I'm Jason.
I'm Bill. Forget
Bless
about my
you.
sneeze there.
And today we're going to talk about pub food, which includes our burgers, pizza, gotta have pizza, and we're going to do fast food
And we're going to do one-offs.
and one-offs.
Something that's really good at a restaurant and the rest of the restaurant just doesn't, it's not all that, but the one item is really strong.
So where do you want to start?
Let's start with pizza.
Let's start with pizza. I talked about it yesterday at lunch, but the top pizza on my list, and I've said it multiple times on this show, is Fiore's Pizza in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And we've talked about it numerous times on the show. That's my number one, but I have a lot of other ones I like as well. Also in Pittsburgh is Beato's, which is a square pizza, very thin. Cold cheese is the interesting thing about Beato's. All the toppings, none of the toppings are cooked on. The pizza's baked with sauce and then taken out and then dressed with whatever the toppings are and a whole handful of cold cheese. Sounds like it might not be appealing to you, but I can assure you it is good.
Yes, cold cheese is something that's, I think it's definitely a Pennsylvania thing. I know Philadelphians claim to have invented the cold cheese topping, but Pittsburgh also lays claim, so, think what you will. But cold cheese, even cold cheese on top of hot cheese, is actually delicious.
The more cheese, the better.
The more cheese, the better. The next one is one we actually had 2 nights ago, or maybe 2 nights ago. Cristino's down here in Clearwater, Florida, off of a street that I can't remember the name of, but it's Clearwater, Florida.
Fort
Cristino's.
Harrison Boulevard.
Fort Harrison Boulevard, and it's Cristino's at CR instead of there's no H. They make a wood fire coal oven pizza.
Coal oven pizza. The family's from Bari, Italy. The pizzas are amazing. Really, really good.
They're really good when you get them to go, but they're amazing when you get them there. Very crispy, get that slight chew to the crust, great toppings. Again, you can tell it's homemade sauce, excellent cheese. And we, in this family, we both like their pepperoni it's actually boar's head pepperoni. And it kind of gets that curled up edge. So it gets a little bit crispy on top, which we like.
Yes.
And the sausage is the finely chopped sausage. So it's almost like a crumble. And those two together are just a phenomenal, phenomenal pairing.
Then I'm going to go Prince Street Pizza in New York City. Prince Street is interesting in that I've never been there. But I had it on, Jason saw a picture on Gold Belly, told me about it. I ordered it. And for pizza that came frozen and I had to warm up, I got to tell you, it was amazing. Their pepperoni pizza is loaded with pepperoni and they make a special sauce to go with the pepperoni. And it's just really, really good.
And it is a spicy sauce for people listening.
Yes.
Yes.
Tony's in San Francisco, I think we mentioned.
Yes.
We've been there. What's interesting about Tony's is the pizzas you order them by the topping, but the topping also dictates the temperature that they're cooked at. So not every pizza is cooked the same way, which is really unique. And Tony's Neapolitan pizza up in North Beach is really, really good. One of the best pizzas in the U.S. Be prepared to stand in line when you go, and be prepared to be a little confused when you order.
And they do have a number of crusts as well, because they offer the New York, and they offer I think they offer the Detroit pizza there as well.
I know they have New York style. I know they have a number of specialty pizzas, but they're all really good. You got another one?
I do. I have 2 more. I haven't thrown out a New Orleans pizza yet, and I think I've spoken on this podcast before that New Orleans isn't known for traditional Italian food, but probably the best pizza there is Pizza Dominica, or Dominica, because it's the same place, but one's a little bit fancier restaurant. The other one's just like more of a casual, same person, same pizza. It again is a coal fire, fast cooked pizza. You get that delicious crust, excellent toppings, really, really good. And then also in New Orleans, in Harahan, New Orleans, which is a little county, is Oak Oven, which in Harahan you wouldn't expect there to be good pizza, but Oak Oven is really, really good pizza. They give you like thick slices of pepperoni, like a thick cut. But again, it's a coal fire, fast cooked pizza. You get crispy edges. They use fresh mozzarella. It's a nice, you can tell it's a homemade sauce. Very, very good.
Well, everybody usually has a pizza from where they went to college. So I'm going to shout out to the Hideaway in Stillwater, which has been around since the 1950s. Really unique. It's a chain now. They have them in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, but the one in Stillwater is very different than the other. You could tell when you have one from Stillwater. I don't know what it is, but it's my wife and I's pizza. We were dating: pepperoni, mushroom, sausage, Canadian bacon. And every time we go back to Stillwater, every year we have it. And my last pizza I want to shout out is Pizza Suprema, which is in New York City. It's behind Madison Square Garden. And this one was founded, when they founded it, it only made cheese pizza. And Jason and I always say that the test of a true pizza is what is the simplest pizza? How good is the simplest slice? So a slice of cheese, how good is it? And Suprema is amazing. And Suprema has a number of different sauces that they use based upon what you're going to order. So their cheese pizza has a different topping than their grandma's pizza, which is a different topping than their pepperoni or meat pizzas. So again, I applaud people that work at the craft and try and really raise it to an art form. But those are our pizza choices.
And we could probably do a follow-up pizza show and almost have an entire 60-minute pizza conversation, which maybe we'll do at some point if people respond to it well. I think we end on fast foods. It's sort of a late night thing. We'll go to the pub food.
Okay.
I'll start. I'll stay in New Orleans to start, and I'll start with the Cowbell. Cowbell has absolutely terrible parking, but that's almost true of every single New Orleans restaurant. But they make just an incredible burger, lots of drinks, and they have an ever-changing menu as well. They're known for their macaroni and cheese, and then macaroni and cheese has various toppings, and their burger is like a thick, really juicy fresh-cut burger or fresh-made burger, fresh-cut fries. They do offer a number of aiolis and homemade ketchups if that's your jam. Being from Pittsburgh, I only think Heinz ketchup perfected the ketchup, and nobody else should mess with ketchup, but I know that's not a popular opinion these days, as people want variety. But it's a little, I would say that if you go to Cowbell, expect to pay a little more than your typical bar and pub. But you're getting really good quality, so you are getting what you pay for. Just don't expect it to be as cheap as your average pub.
My first one I'm going to shout out to is here in Clearwater. It's O'Keefe's. It's an Irish pub, so a lot of shepherd's pie, a lot of really good pub food like that. My favorite thing there is the grilled cheese cheeseburger. So it's just a grilled cheese sandwich with a cheeseburger on it, and it's done really, really well. It's one of my favorite burgers anywhere. But all the pub food there, the wings are good. The shepherd's pie, like I said, the Irish stew. It's a really good Irish pub. Good food. O'Keefe's in Clearwater, right down the street from Christina's, as a matter of fact, on Fort Harrison.
So you can double dip. Go for lunch, take a walk, and then hit the pub. My next one I'll shout out is another New Orleans one. It's the Bayou Beer Garden, which is technically connected to the Bayou Wine Garden. So you kind of get fancy pub and traditional pub, and in the middle of those two, they have a giant shared outdoor area, which is really nice. And again, the beer garden side has your TVs and your sports, and the wine garden side is, no TVs. But it's a very nice place. And again, on the one side, you get your traditional, you get your burgers, your wings, chicken fingers, French fries, all excellent. And on the other side, you get your slightly fancier affairs. It's a French Cajun sort of cuisine, and it changes at all times. They also have meat is actually a third part of this pub, and meat is just a butcher shop that provides all the meat for all the places in there. And they also offer some tasty victuals from time to time as well.
My number 2 is another Irish pub, this one in Ybor City.
Oh, yes.
The James Joyce Pub. Great burgers, great wings. My favorite thing there is the buffalo wings, boneless buffalo wings. Tremendous. And Jason and I love our French fries. And you get the best bacon cheese fries you're ever going to have. Even as good as Eskimo Joe's at Stillwater. But the bacon cheese fries at the James Joyce Pub are phenomenal. Great beer selection, great food selection. The burgers they have an amazing array of burgers. Some have won awards in different contests. But I always highly recommend the James Joyce Pub.
Yes, and I've only been there a few times, but top 2 or 3 best boneless buffalo wings in the world. They're just absolutely amazing. And it's really tough because you're going to get the bacon cheese fries because, again, it's the real bacon chopped up. It's not those old school bacon bits. It's a really tasty cheddar cheese sauce, fresh cut French fries. And then it's always the rub of like, I can only eat so much, and you've seen us, we're both big fellas, but there's still a limit. But do I get a burger and the cheese fries, or do I get the buffalo and the cheese fries? It's hard to go with everything, but you won't go wrong either way.
It's the only place I've ever been where the fries run out before the cheese on your plate.
Yes, they do not skim. I'm going to shout out a Tampa place, Fat Rabbit, which is in New Tampa. It's in a shopping center with a Publix, so you can get your grocery shopping done as well. You know, maybe hit up a store at the end. But Fat Rabbit's a pretty new place. I think it's only a couple years old. They make, again, I feel like we're kind of repeating ourselves on the food, but fantastic hamburgers. And they have a variety of different kind of hamburgers. You can get real weird with it. You can kind of traditional with it. They offer a fish taco. They have their own spin on wings as far as like some of the sauces. They have a Daytona sauce, which I can't quite describe. It's a little bit spicy, but it's a sweet spicy, but it's got its own sort of flair to it. Very tasty.
You have your choice of fries, sweet potato fries, or tater tots with every selection. And so I don't know if anybody's ever made these before, and I'm still looking for them. I want sweet potato tots.
I think I have seen those before. I couldn't tell you where, though, but I'm sure they exist.
But Fat Rabbit is outstanding. I'm going to go with Walk-Ons, which I went to the one in Lutz, which is a suburb of Tampa, but it's originally out of New Orleans, founded by it's out of Baton Rouge, founded by walk-on basketball players at LSU. Great sports bar. Plenty TVs, huge portions. I got onion straws there, and it must have been enough onion straws for 12 people. Great buffalo chicken sandwich, had like 2 chicken breast fillets on it. I mean, it's massive quantities, but the food is really, really good. And I really enjoyed the service, and I love the ambiance. I love anywhere where there's plenty of TVs. You can have your pick of whatever you want there.
And I'm not sure if this one is on your list, but back where I went to my undergraduate at University of Massachusetts, there's the Hangar, which is just an absolutely phenomenal Hangar pub.
Those are the best boneless wings I've ever had.
My ex used to work there, so I got a special treat to see all the way. I mean, it's always fresh chicken. They cut up the chicken fingers themselves in the back from, basically the whole chicken breast, so you're not getting any sort of frozen or hand-breaded homemade sauces. Lots of beer on tap, lots of TVs. It is sort of a New England place. You're going to be stuck with Patriot and Red Sox fans, which is annoying, but it's even worth it for the food. So,
but go there and ask for Stoney. I'm trying to find for another.
The only other one I have on my list is Pharmacy with an FH, which I talked about yesterday on the other food pub. So I'm sure if you listen to the other one, you probably listen to this one. Again, Pharmacy it's in a shotgun house in New Orleans, and it's traditional pub food with an Asian flair. So you have some Asian fusion and some in the wings, and Asian fusion burgers, and then you get your traditional pub wings and burgers as well. But there's definitely an Asian flair to a lot of things, and then some traditional Asian food on the side. But really nice. It's very small, so be careful when you go.
Let's do some one-offs now.
You don't want to let's get fast food or go back?
No, we'll go fast food last.
Okay.
Let's do one-offs.
All right.
Al's Cafe in Dinkytown, which is in Minneapolis by the U. Phenomenal blueberry pancakes, wild blueberry pancakes. Haven't had anything else there, but if I was going to go there, I probably would never deviate from the pancakes on the menu. Really, really strong. And our one-offs are going to be a place that has one item that's really, really good, and the other items on the menu might be okay. You're doing one thing really, really well.
I'm going to cheat on this one off because I probably should. I need to explore this place slightly more. But Willie Jean's, which has technically, I guess, pseudo world famous or U.S. famous cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you've actually given as gifts before. But they also offer a full breakfast menu. And again, it's a little bit on the pricey side. But they have a honey Tabasco chicken biscuit. And that's really all that I've ever had there. So I'm kind of cheating on this one off. They might make everything else really delicious. But again, it's a really tender, well-fried piece of chicken. It's way more on the Tabasco side than the honey side, but it's got just that kick of honey. And then it's laid over the top of a really homemade biscuit. It's quite good.
Okay, my next one-off is also from New Orleans, Mother's, which is very famous. And I've had omelets and I've had other things that I have not been impressed with, but they have something called black ham, which I've never seen anywhere else. It's the outside of a molasses baked ham. And if you get there and you get the chance to have the black ham on whatever you order, do that. The black ham egg and cheese biscuit with black ham is over the top. Really, really good.
Okay. I'm going to go with another New Orleans breakfast place. And let me say, this is a very highly rated, very popular place. They have a location in the Quarter and like 5 others throughout New Orleans. It's the Ruby Slipper. And there's nothing wrong with the Ruby Slipper. It's very solid breakfast food. It's above average. I mean, you're way better than your Denny's or your IHOP, but it's not blowing you away. Except they make a cane sugar butter, which you put that on a biscuit or on a pancake, you don't need anything else with it. It's absolutely amazing. It's like instead of like a honey butter, it's like a brownish cane sugar butter.
Fila Flava, which is a shop with a couple entrees in Tampa. Pretty good. I thought it was the best cheesesteak in Tampa until I went to Chubb's, which is down. It's also in Tampa, in South Tampa, and I've only been there once, and it was an amazing cheesesteak. Both of these places have Cheese Whiz, and both of them have their rolls sent in from Philly, from Amoroso's. So a big shout out for authenticity, but haven't had anything else at. Had other things at Fila Flava. Don't think they're that great, but really enjoyed the cheesesteak until I went to Chubb's, and Chubb's was off the chart.
And then I guess the last one I'll throw out is Hot Wok, which is on Veterans in New Orleans, Chinese restaurant. Very fast service. Most of the food is okay. Their General Tso's chicken is really good, and you get an enormous portion. I would say if you're a New Orleans person or typically somebody likes it spicy, ignore the little pepper and tell them to make it extra spicy, and then you'll get some really good General Tso's chicken.
And my last one is Big Ray's Fish Camp in Tampa, home of the lobster corn dog. It's an entire lobster tail dipped in a corn dog batter, but not a heavy corn dog batter. And it is amazing. It is really, really good.
Do you dip it in butter?
Nope, you just eat it the way it is.
Okay.
It was amazing. An entire lobster tail. It's a $24 item. And they have a lot of other things on the menu, but this one just stands out. And then for dessert, they had fried key lime pie, which is almost like a key lime donut without the donut being gummy. It was both those things were very, very good. So Big Ray's Fish Camp.
Okay. Well, I guess we can move on to fast food.
All right. I guess my favorite fast food, you can tell by the lines, is Chick-fil-A. And, I eat breakfast there more often than I eat lunch. But I think everything on the Chick-fil-A menu is really, really good. It's done almost perfectly every time you go there. It's very consistent. There's a line of cars from, let's say, 7:30 till 9 o'clock at night till they close. My favorite item there is a breakfast chicken, egg, and cheese biscuit. And if the biscuit is right, that's one of the best breakfasts you're ever going to have. But got to give a big shout out to Chick-fil-A. They do it right. Great service, and they treat their employees really well.
I was about to say, I know some people have problems with them politically, but their employees are genuinely happy, and it seems like they treat their employees well. So at least they've got that going for them. My first one is one I don't get as often as I would like. It would be Zaxby's. Zaxby's is a chicken finger. It's chicken finger, a piece of bread, like toast.
Texas toast,
French fries, garlic bread. They offer some legitimately hot buffalo sauce. And you can have it on the side or they toss them in it. And it's just delicious. I mean, it's really well, their service probably could use an upgrade. But their food is excellent. If you and I don't know what else they do. They do chicken fingers, they do chicken sandwiches. It's basically various
chicken
things.
Salads. Yeah, everything with chicken.
Everything with chicken. And I've had a lot of the others, including the world famous Cane's. If you like mayonnaise, you'll like Cane's. If you're not a mayonnaise person, that's all they offer. Granted, it's like a spicy mayo, but it's a very bland piece of chicken with some spicy mayonnaise. Whereas Zaxby's give you a whole array of buffalo and barbecue. It's a much better.
I like Zaxby's as well. My next chain is Culver's, home of the Butterburger, an outstanding an outstanding hamburger for a chain, and the frozen custard there is just really, really, really good. And so when I take that into account, they also make their own root beer there, which I'm a big root beer fan. But Culver's, French fries, burgers, chili, the ice cream products, the frozen custard products, I should say, are all just first rate. I never feel I'm settling when I go to Culver's.
And I know this isn't your thing, but Culver's also makes cheese curds. And I got to tell you, little fried balls of cheese, it's hard to go wrong with fried balls of cheese. And sometimes if you don't feel like a French fry to go with your burger, a nice side of cheese curds, it changes it up a little bit, makes it a little funky.
They always have a different flavor of the day custard. And they have a really Reese's, which is chocolate frozen custard with chopped up Reese's peanut butter cups. It's one of my favorites. And they have a Devil's Food cake, which is chocolate custard, Devil's Food cake, fudge, and I think some chocolate chips. It's outrageous as well.
All right, my next one is El Pollo Loco, which started on the West Coast and I think is slowly drifting, mainly in the southern states. El Pollo Loco makes burritos. When you first walk in, though, it's a giant open kitchen, and they have one of those huge grills where they cook the chicken. So you get to watch the chicken being made. They have a salsa bar with variety of salsas and some of those pickled vegetables like spicy carrots and things along those lines. And you get a very stuffed burrito for a fast, quick place, including one with the drive-thru. And although we forgot to mention at the beginning of our fast food section, we're including fast and fast casual in the same thing. Because I know technically a Five Guys doesn't have a drive-thru, but we're still considering that to be part of the fast food. Health-wise, it's definitely in that category. So I think we're going to stick with that. But El Pollo Loco, quite good.
Okay. I'm going to go BurgerFi and Shake Shack because they're really, really close. Great burgers, natural fed beef. Both have frozen custard. Outstanding. I mean, I think a Shake Shack burger, I've had them all over the country. I've had them in London. Again, a very, very consistent product. Really done well. I had breakfast there the other day at the LaGuardia Airport and I loved the breakfast. So Shake Shack does a great job. BurgerFi, not as many outlets, more a Kansas City-based place. But we have them here in Tampa. We had them in Orlando, and they're fresh cut fries, and they have cry fries, which are a combination of onion rings and French fries. Like I said, frozen custard, which I'm a sucker for, but really, really good burgers. Really, really done well.
And I was going to include one of these on my list, but you picked my two favorites. But if you're in New Orleans, and I'm sure other places, there's another chain called Mooyah, Mooyah. Got a picture of a cow because, of course, it does. Again, it's the same concept. They pull out the non-frozen meat, smash it down, get that crispy edge. The nice thing about Mooyah is they offer like 4 different varieties of buns. So you can get gluten-free. You get the traditional potato roll like the Shake Shack and everybody else has. Then they have like a weird 9-grain artisan one, and I think they have another one too. And the one twist they have the fresh cut French fries, but they also offer a queso for your French fries there, if that's something you would enjoy.
Interesting.
Yeah. For my next one, I got to go with Portillo's out of Chicago, which we also have down in Florida, and it's spreading around. Portillo's is a lot of variety. You got your cheese fries. You got your Portillo hot dog. The Portillo hot dog is one of the more famous Chicago hot dogs. You got Chicago beef sandwich. And I'm fairly certain they do it with the traditional 3, where you get the one is where you just get the beef out of the au jus.
Yep.
So it's a little bit wet. The second one, they pour a little bit of au jus on top. And then they also do the dip, where they put the meat on the sandwich and then dip the whole bun into the au jus. So obviously it becomes a fork and knife meal at that point.
Yeah.
And they also have burgers. And they have ribs there, but I've never had ribs at Portillo's.
I had pasta there last time I was there. I had cheese ravioli. They were really good as well.
It's a lot of variety, and they move pretty quickly. And they do have a drive-thru.
So my next pick is Miller's Ale House, which is a chain. It's a sports bar, but it's a chain. But really good menu, big menu, but they do most of it really, really well. I like the buffalo shrimp there, as well as the zingers, which is their version of buffalo chicken fingers. And the zingers, they have a whole array of salads and whole thing I have a whole zinger menu, so a whole thing feeding off of buffalo chicken fingers, a whole menu. So it's with all different flavors and everything you can do on it. It's pretty well done. Really nice place. Great to go for lunch. Great to go for dinner. Great to go hang out on a Saturday, watch football with your friends, or Sunday, and just really well done. But it's a chain.
I'm going to give a little bit of an explanation for the next one to start with. Now, as a young child, you're usually exposed to your McDonald's, your Burger King, your Wendy's. Maybe live somewhere regional, you get something else, but you get the cheap because you want the fast food, you want the toy. But then eventually you graduate. You've had a Five Guys, you've had a Shake Shack, even a Steak and Shake, Culver's, and all of a sudden those burgers are trash and everyone eat them again. If you like McDonald's or Burger King, I'm sorry, bad taste. Just kidding, you can enjoy them, whatever you like. But the one fast food restaurant I have not graduated from, although I do like the more expensive versions, I still love Taco Bell. Despite, every couple of years there being a thing about what's wrong with their meat. Is it meat? Is it sawdust? Does it contain E. coli? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I've never gotten sick there. But there's something about the terrible Taco Bell that just can't be beat. And not even drunk. Sober. It's delicious. And I pretty much stay to a very traditional Taco Bell menu. But again, normally you move on. Once you've had the better versions, you don't want to go back. But no one has quite captured the trashy deliciousness of Taco Bell, which they probably wouldn't use in an ad, but I think that maybe they should.
I think I might be all the fast food I have. Do you have any more?
I have two more.
Go ahead.
I have Jet's Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I don't know where to call it, because it's not one of my favorite pizza places. But as far as a fast delivery place, you have Jet's. And Jet's, I think, is a fairly new chain that's sort of spreading out. Jet's is Detroit-style pizza. And Detroit-style pizza is cooked in like a shallow pan with edges. And you get a crispy edge and like a burnt cheese all the way to the edges. And Jet's offers a 4-corner pizza, which is just 4 slices. It's big enough for 2 people, because they're pretty big slices. But you get 2 edges on each side. It's really crispy. It's a very solid, of the chain pizzas that are big, and it's very good. And then my last fast food one is by far the most unhealthy one, and maybe the most controversial after Taco Bell. The Big Krispy Kreme. I've had fancy donuts from lots of places, and I just don't think they're as good as Krispy Kreme. I think they make the best donuts in the world. And they're fast, and they're quick. They have a drive-through, so I definitely count as fast food. But the glazed with the chocolate frosting, it tastes like unicorn poop or whatever. It's amazing. Like it's an unbeatable donut.
Well, since you brought up donuts, I got to shout out DK Donuts in LA that my son Dan turned me on to. I love a chocolate cream stuffed donut, and they have an amazing one there. So I want to thank Dan for enlightening me there. And then, Jason, remember, if we're talking about bakery goods, Atkins Farms in Amherst was one of the best bakery farms places I've ever been.
And a really nice grocery store, too. With a really
Really
good deli and meat section. And fresh foods. It's a farm, so, yeah.
I don't know if I want to call this, I'll get back to the one-offs. I don't know if this is a one-off or a 100-off. But in Philadelphia, there's the Reading Terminal Market, which has everything you've ever wanted under one roof. And I've eaten at Bassett's ice cream there. I've eaten at Gene Luke's cheesesteaks. I've eaten at, I forget the famous pork sandwich there, who does that one. But there's an Amish restaurant there, and I can't remember it from the life of me. But whenever I'm in Philadelphia and I get a chance to go there, I go there and eat at the Amish restaurant. But if you're with a bunch of people and you like a variety of food, the Reading Terminal Market in downtown Philly is just off the hook.
And obviously there are many more. We'd love to hear from you guys. We could read them if you guys have some suggestions of, pizza, pub, fast food. Please, tweet, email, text us if you're one of those people that has our numbers, and we'll talk about your things on the next show. Because we'd love to hear suggestions.
And speaking of which, I got a text from Jeff Muniche wanting to know how many of the places he's taken me to in Minneapolis are on there. And Ike's was on my one list. Al's was on my list today. But I would be remiss if I didn't include Matt's Bar at home of the Juicy Lucy. And there's two places that have a Juicy Lucy, one in Minneapolis, one in St. Paul. Jeff's going to take me to the one in St. Paul, and I'm going to be able to decide what I like better. But a Juicy Lucy is a burger stuffed and cooked with the cheese inside. So it becomes a lethal weapon if you don't know what you're doing and you take a big bite into it. Because it's going to be really hot and you're going to burn your tongue. But you're also going to shoot cheese out the other end of the burger at some of your dining mates. But it's famous and it's really, 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 really good.
And the tough thing when you make them at home is you're basically making two patties. You fold the slice of cheese into a square, and then you have to really crimp the edges down so it can't seep out. And then you cook, and then, like you said, you get this molten center like a lava cake.
That's a good way to describe it. And I don't know how much cheese they put in, but it's a lot of cheese.
It is a lot of cheese. And there's nothing wrong with a lot of cheese.
No. And I know we were talking about burgers yesterday, and I mentioned the Parlor Burger in Minneapolis. So the first one I ate at was the Target Center. 2 pieces of beef, 2 pieces of cheese, brioche bun, and that's it. And I'll tell you what, it's one of the best burgers you'll ever have. So thanks for all the food items, Mune. Appreciate your support.
And again, I think we've established a good rule of thumb with food, whether you're talking barbecue, pizza, burger, just about anything. If the simplest version is not delicious, I think you got an issue. If you're constantly trying to cover it up with all these extra flavors, you haven't really added to it.
Now, future episodes, we haven't touched on seafood except for GW Fins.
No.
But we could do seafood, which we can do, and we do some more dessert stuff.
I'd like to do a...
Delis.
When you go to Yelp, they've also got the $1, the $2, the $3, $4.
Yeah.
So maybe we could hit up... We didn't really hit on too many of the pricier restaurants, but, I mean, in a lot of ways you do get what you pay for. Like, it's a lot of money to spend on a meal, but sometimes those meals are just absolutely outstanding. So, we have some more food stuff coming up for you as well as an entertainment one, as we're going to hit on some of our 2019 favorite shows and movies.
In our entertainment, we're going to have 3 guests from my Sport Marketing Association members. One's a former student, Brandon Brown. One's a good friend, Greg Bennett, Khalil Bluey. Another former student, Dr. Bennett's another good friend of mine. And we have a tradition whenever we go to a conference called Movie Night. And so the 3 of them will guest with Jason and I at the end of January when we do the entertainment show.
And it's good because around the Oscars, we'll be looking back at the best movies we saw for the year. And TV shows. It might end up being 2 pods. But again, rate us on iTunes. Subscribe. If you can jump on the Patreon, become a family member, we really appreciate it. Helps us keep the lights on and pay for all the hosting sites and all that good stuff. We are recording this over the holidays in person, so make sure you guys all have a happy, fun holiday. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one.
So peace out. It's going to be fun January as you guys listen to these shows we're doing in advance.